Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show where I mix faith, purpose, and a whole lot of positive vibes. Today, I'm diving headfirst into a topic that's as exciting as a treasure hunt. It's all about being faithful stewards of the things that God has given you. Imagine this episode as your personal adventure map to discovering, nurturing, and supercharging your unique God-given talents. So kick back, grab a cozy drink, and let's embark on this exhilarating journey together. Hi, friend. Are you ready to move into a leadership position? Do you have interests and ambitions that you want to pursue, but feel like you don't know how to take that next step? Maybe you want to start your own coaching or consulting agency. I'm Mel, and I help educators define their career path through correct mindset, knowing your options, and getting prepared for your career transition. I will show you how to level up your leadership skills, share your expertise in a new way, create impact on a larger scale, and put your leadership in motion. As an educator for over 20 years, I started to feel underused and like I had more to give. I knew when the time had come for me to leave the classroom and affect change on a larger level. Now, I'm ready to help you determine where your talents and skills mesh with your passions and interests, put your leadership in motion, and move into that next phase of your educational career journey. Let me help you define your career path by having the right mindset, knowing your options, and getting prepared for that next leadership position. So power up and put your leadership in motion. Hey friends, it is a beautiful day here in Missouri. There is a little bit of a crisp in the air, which makes me feel amazing because I cannot do any more heat. It definitely makes my 5K training a little bit easier with the cooler temperatures. Today, I want to talk about being good stewards of everything that God's given you. Everyone remembers the parable of the talents, I'm sure, how the master went away. He gave talents to his 3 servants. He gave different amounts to the servants because he knew what they could handle and what they were going to do with them. And they all did something different with their talents. And the last one did not utilize the talents in any way, did not make them grow, did not use them for anything good. He just buried them. And sometimes we do that with our talents and we don't really cultivate and utilize our talents to their fullest. But it's not just our talents that we are not good stewards of. Sometimes we're not good stewards of our time or our finances or even our relationships. So today I want to talk to you about being a good steward of everything that God has given you, especially when you're thinking about a career transition. So first, we're going to dive into discovering your God-given talents. God gave everybody different talents and different skills. And in 1 Peter 4:10, it says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. What he's saying is that he is giving you these different things to be used. They are not to be kept to yourself. He commands you to use them to make an impact. In the Bible, Solomon had great wisdom because he asked God for wisdom and God gave him that wisdom and he used it fully. He didn't just get the wisdom and then not use it for anything good. I know someone who has great musical talent, but because of some fear and some limiting beliefs, they don't use their musical talent fully. Right now, they're not using their musical talent at all. And it is so sad because this person is so gifted that they could bless everybody with their abilities. So I want to encourage you to reflect on your unique talents and how they can be used to serve others. Then we go to number 2, cultivate and multiply your talents. So you're not just getting the talents that you have. In the story of the talents, the first 2, They took those talents and they figured out a way to multiply them. So when the master came back, he was very pleased with the two of them. So you want to think about setting some goals and working diligently to maximize what you've been given. And number 3, you want to take your resources and you want to use them for impact. And that brings to mind social media influencers. Sometimes social media influencers can be good and they can really make a good impact. But sometimes the things that they influence others to do does not have a good impact. And I'm thinking specifically some of these challenges that kids are taking to heart, and they're like really doing the things that they are told to do, and they're not thinking about the consequences or the impact, the negative impact on their actions. You want to use your talents to be agents of change for good. Look for some alignment between your talents and your skills, and think about all of your skills and what God is calling you to do in your life. And I can help you identify your talents and your skills and also your passions and your interests and find the career that's perfect for you. Number 4, think beyond your talents. We have to think about our stewardship of our other resources as well. And those include things like time, your finances, and your relationships. When we're given something, we are called to prove ourselves faithful with the things that we were entrusted. If God has given you musical talent, you have to be faithful. If God has given you financial talent, then you have to be faithful in using that and teaching others. This is stewardship in all areas of your life. Some ways to be good stewards of your time is to set some clear goals. Define those specific, measurable, and time-bound goals for your career transition. Create a schedule. Develop your daily, weekly, and monthly outlines of the tasks and activities that you need to accomplish. Do some backward planning. Prioritize those tasks, and then do some time blocking to make sure you fit everything in. It's also important to minimize distractions so you can be a good steward of the time that you have. We all only have 24 hours a day. We sometimes use it differently than someone else. Sometimes we're more effective in the use of our 24 hours than someone else. And set deadlines, because that will help keep you on track, especially when you're transitioning in your career and you have some transition milestones set. You can create some deadlines, which creates that sense of urgency and helps you stay on track. And if you have to, use some time management tools. I use my Google Calendar for everything. I get notifications. I have timers set on my phone. I get busy and I forget. And so those keep me on track. We also have to be good stewards of our finances, especially when we're career transitioning, because that can be a problem if we are not good stewards before we transition. So think about your budgeting, create a detailed budget that outlines everything in your month, and be realistic about your financial situation so that your budget really reflects that new career transition and you can allocate your funds in the places where they need to go. And set back some emergency funds because you never know what's going to happen. Your refrigerator may go out. Your hot water heater may go out. Your car could break down. You could need new tires. There's so many things that you might need some additional emergency funds for. So make sure you're planning that. And do some debt reduction before you even think about a transition, because you cannot transition with high debt, especially when you're trying to transition into something that may take a little bit of time for you to build your finances back up. And you may have to live a little more lean during that transition time. So you're going to need to cut some unnecessary expenses. My kids are notorious for thinking they need to have every single way that you can watch any kind of TV show. And I was looking and we had subscriptions to almost everything. And it was ridiculous. Now, of course, they're all paying for some. And so it really didn't look like it was very much until we sat down and looked at it as a whole. So we did some cutting back of those unnecessary expenses. So find all of the areas where you can cut back and track your progress. You want to really monitor your financial progress every week or every month, depending on what your goals are, and continually review your budget and your savings goals to make sure that they're aligned with your circumstances as they are changing. And then one of the most important things is your relationships and being a good steward of those relationships when you are transitioning, but not just during transition time. Build this habit before that so you always have a good stewardship of your relationships. And that starts with communication. Honest and open communication is so important in every healthy relationship, whether that's with your kids, with your spouse, with your best friend, with your coworkers, whatever it is, be open in your communication and be empathetic. Try to see things from the other person's perspective and understand their emotions, their needs, their desires, especially during a career transition where emotions can run high and stress can be at the maximum. And trust and respect are so vital in any relationship. So show some respect for the other person's boundaries, their values, their autonomy during this time, and all of the rest of the time as well. And make sure when you are thinking about budgeting your time that you are budgeting in some quality time for those that are important to you. Because if you are working all the time, or you're putting other people first and other situations and other activities first, and you are not cultivating the important relationships, then that's going to create problems. That's going to create some resentment, and it's going to create really a hard transition into that next career. And then have some self-awareness around your own needs, your emotions, your triggers, but also have awareness around the needs, the emotions, and the triggers of others in your circle. So as we close today, I want to encourage you to really reflect on all of the resources that God has given you, not only your talents, but your time, your relationships, your finances, all of the things that God has entrusted you with specifically. And as we conclude this episode, I challenge you to put your newfound insights into action. Embrace the role of a faithful steward. Make very intentional choices about all of your resources as you transition into that new career or as you prepare to transition into that new career. And if you found value in today's episode, please hit the subscribe button on whichever platform that you listen on. That way you never miss an episode. And I hope today's show was a blessing to you as you continue on your path toward everything God has in store for your life. May the Lord bless and keep you. May His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift you up and give you peace. Bye-bye.